shiny hunting, a pastime which is arguably not for the weak, or at least the impatient. Hi, I'm back, and I'm relatively new to shiny hunting, but not new to Pokemon itself. I've been playing since the first games came out, but I never really understood what shiny Pokemon were. I'd never seen one, and I had no idea there were methods to increase your odds of encountering one. So, what are shiny Pokemon? The simple answer is they are exactly the same as regular Pokemon, they just have different colour palettes, at least in most examples. In earlier games, your base odds for encountering a shiny Pokemon was 1 in 8,192. However, in newer games, the base odds were halved to 1 in 4,098. So, are there ways to drop these odds even lower? Actually, there's a lot. In this video, I'm going to be trying each of the shiny hunting methods that are available on the Switch while also hunting for some of my favourite Pokemon. Our first method hunt will be Pokeradar in BDSP. Once you have completed the Pokedex in these games, you unlock the National Pokedex and access to the Pokeradar. Our first target was Miltank, a Pokemon I briefly tried to hunt when I first completed the Dex, but with no radar experience. Surprisingly, I actually managed to get to a chain of 40 on my first try, only for this to happen.
No, wait.
The reason a chain of 40 break-in is such a heartbreaking moment is because the higher your radar chain, the lower your odds are of encountering the shiny, and a chain of 40 is known within the community as giving you the best chance. I continued to chain Miltanks, and then, after 132 encounters, we found our girl. I love my little docile alien cow. Overall, I really like this method. It's actually probably my favourite method. I just think it's the right amount of concentration and chill for me. It can take some getting used to if you're new to it, but I really love this method, at least when your chain doesn't break. The next method I tried maybe technically isn't a method as such, but random encounters with the shiny charm in Sword and Shield. I decided to hunt for Wooloo, of course, mascot of this game, apple of my eye. Finally, after running into 951 sheep, we found him. Honestly, this isn't my favourite method, but it's nowhere near my least favourite either. This is a great way to shiny hunt in the background while you watch a movie or something at the same time. After running into so many sheep, the shiny really did actually catch me off guard, and that was actually a fun surprise. So I really enjoyed this hunt. My next hunt was again in Sword and Shield, but this time we headed to the nursery in the wild area for the Masuda method. These games brought so many cool Galarian variants of old Pokemon, but arguably the best of all of them is Galarian Ponyta. So that's who we're shiny hunting for. The Masuda method is basically breeding two Pokemon, a ditto from a different region than your game, and your target shiny Pokemon. This method can be tedious, but if you have a Pokemon with the flame body ability in your party while you hatch the eggs will actually hatch a little quicker. After 720 eggs, we finally got our Cotton Candy Cloud Pony. I really love this Pokemon's design, and the shiny is really incredible. This is another great method to do in the background, as it doesn't require too much concentration, but again, running around in circles can get quite old quite fast. Pokemon Legends Arceus. This game is arguably the easiest game to find shinies in. My main target in this game was Tangela, but I knew I'd probably encounter a couple of shinies before we got our target. After 33 encounters, I found a shiny Turtwig. The hunts in Arceus work a little bit different, as you can leave and reset the area after checking for shinies to reset the spawns. After 188 encounters, I found a shiny Happiny. The method for this hunt was going to be a mashup of random encounters with the shiny charm and massive mass outbreaks, but as time went on I kind of gave up on the MMOs. After 277 encounters I found a shiny Ursaring.
Help me!
Then shortly after that, at 288 encounters, I got a shiny Stunky.
What?
Until finally, at 459 encounters, I found my silly string monster. although this game does trigger my fight or flight consistently, it is so fun to play and feels so rewarding when you find the shinies. This was a super fun hunt. Next, I lost my mind.
See, here I'm now by myself, talking to myself. That's chaos theory.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet introduced the picnic and sandwich mechanics to the game, where if you have the right ingredients and enough Herba Mystica, you can hunt for just about any Pokemon in the game at reduced shiny odds. I have always wanted a shiny Ditto, but just never got around to hunting it, and find it can be quite a difficult hunt in most games in my opinion. I somehow managed to lose the footage from my first Mouse, but don't worry, I have a couple more. I decided to hunt for Ditto using the sandwich method, but there were two problems. I had a very limited amount of Herba Mystica, and Ditto can't be seen in the overworld as it disguises itself as other Pokemon. Another thing to note is I'm timing how long I hunted instead of number of encounters, because it's just way too hard to keep up with individual encounters when you're drowning in shinies that barely change. After a while, I was down to my last Herba Mystica, so I had to reset any shinies I caught if shiny Ditto decided not to show up. After 10 hours of hunting and staring at my screen, I made a very silly mistake.
Did you see what I did there?
I automatically saved before I caught the Meowth. Let me explain. It was a marked shiny Jumbo Meowth. My excitement took over and the hunt was forcibly over. I decided I'd showcase the sandwich method well enough, and I was tired of playing cat and mouse. It was time to finally bring shiny Ditto home, so I went back to PokeRadar. And then finally, after 11 hours, 57 encounters and all of my Herba Mystica, we found shiny Ditto. And then another one. And then another one. And then two at the same time, and then another, and another, and another, and one more for good measure. So anyway, now I have 9 shiny Dittos and I am now done. After the Ditto incident, I was so happy to do another fairly simple shiny method. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were the first Pokemon games to release on the Switch, and I actually caught my very first shiny in Let's Go Pikachu. The shiny hunting method we are tackling in this game is very simple. Catch Pokemon. If you catch multiple of the same Pokemon, you will start a catching chain. The higher your chain, the higher your odds of encountering a shiny. After only 382 encounters, I was able to find a shiny Oddish. Now, 382 encounters may sound like a lot, but this honestly only took me about an hour or two, and it was nice and easy, even though Oddish's shiny was harder to spot than I thought it would be. Dynamax Adventures. My final stop in my shiny hunting journey. Back again in Pokemon Sword and Shield, Dynamax Adventures were introduced with the Crown Tundra DLC. The odds for finding a shiny in the DAs is 1 out of 300 or 1 out of 100 with the shiny charm. You are given a rental Pokemon with a team of friends, online or with NPCs. You face 3 battles with Pokemon before facing off with a legendary. Here we are hoping to find a legendary shiny Mewtwo. After 17 DAs, I was greeted with a shiny Barbracle. I don't know how to say that, sorry. Then a shiny Slowbro at 37 DAs, which you'll see I actually reset over. I was finding Mewtwo to be quite hard to defeat, but I found this particular lineup worked more often than not, so even if it didn't defeat him this time, I decided to reset and continue with this team. My thought process is, I will be able to find both Slowbro and Butterfree shinies again fairly easily, but might not be able to find a good lineup to defeat Mewtwo again for a while, which makes the hunt a lot longer and more frustrating. And then, only 2 DAs after shiny Butterfree, I found him.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
Shiny Mewtwo after only 67 Dynamax adventures. By the end of my shiny hunting adventure, I had near enough a full box of shinies, and I had, honestly, a lot of fun. I enjoyed setting myself a little challenge, and it was so satisfying finally having shinies of my own of my favourite Pokemon. If anyone has made it this far into my silly little shiny video, thank you so much for watching. I'm sure no one will see this, but I don't make these videos for that. I genuinely find editing silly little clips of games that I'll be playing anyway quite fun. Anyway, thank you again, and bye!